and welcome to the recipe for the day from www.kitchennewbie.com. Today we are making
an autumn pie.
Has it got dry leaves in it that are blown out of the trees and bits of twigs and branches that have been blown out of that great big thing at the bottom of the garden?
No, definitely not.
And weeds?
No, it's made with autumnal vegetables and things like that.
You can get this recipe on www.kitchennewbie.com, and whilst you're there, why not have a look around at some of our other recipes and some of the techniques and bits of fun that we've got splattered all over the website. And don't forget, you can have a look at our shop too. Yes, this is a plug, folks, where we've got some of our books. So, autumn pie.
Well, an autumn pie. Now, this is like a shepherd's pie or a cottage pie, but it's got autumnal vegetables.
Shepherds don't do a great deal of shepherding in the autumn.
Do they not?
I don't know. I don't think so.
They do.
The gestation period is quite a long time, so I think that's done in the summertime. So in the autumn, the sheep are either down off the hills into the lower pastures or into the big barns if it's really bad. Or nothing else.
Well, this pie is, your traditional cottage pie with the potato on the top and the meat mixture underneath. Now, I always say that whenever I'm teaching people how to make a shepherd's pie, which most people know how to make one, make your meat well in advance and let it cool down. Because when you're putting your potato mixture on the top, it helps to keep it
separate. Yeah.
And also put your potato mixture round the edge first and then fork it into the centre. If you pop it into the centre, it pushes your meat out.
Oh, I see. Right, of course it does.
And also you get like a nice mixture of the juices from the meat mixture coming into your potato, and they go a bit crispy around the edge.
Right.
So what you'll need is a large onion and a clove of garlic, 2 medium carrots, 1 good-sized leek, half a small Swede, and chop those up really quite finely.
It's hard work chopping up a Swede.
It is, yeah. But it adds to the autumnal flavour.
Especially if you've got a flimsy knife.
Yeah.
Because
you need a good
knife for doing
Swedes. And a longish one as well to push down. So when you've chopped all those up nice and finely, in a large frying pan or a wok or whatever you use to cook your vegetables and your meat together, I tend to use that big lidded wok that we've got. It's very useful.
A wokky pan.
It is.
It's not quite a pan. It's not quite a wok, but it's kind of a wokky pan.
So put a couple of tablespoons of oil in there and a good knob of butter. Let that melt together, and then don't put your onion in first. Put everything in and stir it into the oil and the butter on a lowish light, and then just leave it for a bit. And what will happen is it will all cook together slightly, and you'll get lots of juices coming out of your vegetables. So it starts to make the stocky taste. And then leave that on the lowish light, stirring it now and again for about 10 to 15 minutes, and you'll get good flavours. Because if you start frying them, they'll all fry and not taste as nice. But you need it to fry for a little bit to get not to boil your onion.
Yeah.
So let that carry on, and then stir in your meat. And you'll need 500 grams of minced beef for this one. Quite lean minced beef I use. And then you stir that into your veg, turn your heat up a little bit, and then just fry that together till your meat's changed colour. And add a dash of Worcestershire sauce, 300 ml of stock, or water, whichever you choose. I used water yesterday.
I like stock. I prefer stock, personally.
But add a bit of stock with a stock cube or whatever. Beef stock, veg stock.
Bones.
But not chicken stock.
Bones, my dear.
And you need a tablespoon of tomato puree. Taste it and check for salt and pepper. I tend to put quite a bit of white pepper into this. And then add, if you wish, half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. That gives it even more of a spicy autumnal flavour.
Yeah.
And then you'll need to leave that, then stir that all in, and then let that come to the boil, and then turn it right down and let it simmer for about 50 minutes to an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. I tend to leave it until all the liquid that's bubbled over is gone right down. Do check it though, because it can dry up quite quickly.
It's got a lid on it though, hasn't it?
If it's got a lid on it, it should be okay, a firm lid and a lowish simmer. Now, if you wish, you can thicken that with whatever you normally thicken your gravy with, Bisto, granules, bit of corn flour, or sprinkle a little bit of flour over your meat. When it's frying, you can do whichever way you prefer. And we all have our own preferences, because I do it in all different ways, depending on the
What's
dish.
in the cupboard as well.
And what's in your cupboard, yeah. Now then, once that's cooked and simmered, butter a big largish oven-proof dish. One that you normally use for your lasagnas and your things like that. And I tend to butter it first because your things will crisp up then. And then spoon your meat mixture in the bottom and then just level it out and let it go cool. And then peel yourself 750 grams-ish of potatoes, the mashing potatoes. Now, I say 700, if it's 700 grams, it won't matter. If it's 800 grams,
you just need
just peel that amount of potatoes. Yeah, I tend to use just about 4 good-sized potatoes for this recipe. But you will need 250 grams of pumpkin flesh as well. Again, if it's a little bit over, doesn't matter. If you prefer, you can use sweet potato, but I tend to use that in the summer if I'm making this, or the spring. I like the pumpkin flesh. Now then, as your potatoes are boiling to get ready for the mash, your pumpkin flesh needs to be in the oven baking for about 25 minutes. Don't sprinkle any oil on it, just cut it up into chunks and pop it on a baking sheet and just let it bake for about 25 minutes. You're getting rid of some of the moisture and you're softening it up.
180C?
Yeah, about that.
350?
Yeah, for about 25 minutes. So get that going before you get your potatoes ready, because you want that soft. So it might take 25 minutes, might take a bit longer. And about 180, no more, because you don't want it to get too brown or to dry up too much. And then you need to mash those together with your potatoes. Once you drain them, pop them into the pan and add your pumpkin with 25 grams of butter, around 25 grams, a bit more if you like it.
Dollop.
Salt and pepper and a good grater of nutmeg.
Right.
And then you mash that all together and then spoon that over your potato. Again, round the edges and then fork to the centre.
Into the centre, yeah.
Yeah, just keep doing that till you've covered it over with your potato mixture. Now then, if you wish, you can grate a bit of cheese over the top. I did red Leicester the other day. But sometimes it's nice not to bother with cheese, but have your potato all crispy on the top. And then pop that in the oven. Now, 190, gas mark 5, 375 Fahrenheit, for about 35 to 40 minutes. Because remember, your meat's cold, so it will need at least 35 minutes, if not more. It should be bubbling up at the sides when it's ready. If it's not doing that, leave it for a little bit longer. And if you like your top really crispy, just pop it under the grill for 2 or 3 minutes. It probably won't even take that.
Yeah.
Just to get it crispy and brown on the top. Now then, you've got lots of vegetables in that, but it is nice to have something green with it.
Yeah, cabbage,
kale, broccoli.
Cabbage is wonderful.
But cabbage is wonderful, and as the winter months come, sprouts.
Yeah.
I love gorgeous Brussels, steamed with a little bit of butter. Oh, salt and pepper, they're lovely. But a green veg, and then some pickled onions or some onions in vinegar on the side, or some red cabbage in vinegar. I know we all like a bit of pickle of some kind.
You can't go anywhere without
something
onions
in
and
vinegar.
Yeah.
Well, they're very useful because you can make those when you've made your meat. Just slice an onion.
You can do it when it starts.
Yeah.
Or it keeps as well.
Of course it does.
And if you've got pickled onions,
just slice
an onion, throw it in the empty.
And it will keep a good week.
Liquor.
Yeah. And it's great on a cheese sandwich.
It is great on everything. But anyway, that's not anything to do with.
Oh, it is, because we're going to serve it with something.
Oh yes, no, I meant cheese sandwiches.
Oh no, cheese.
That's for dinner, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are we having cheese sandwiches for dinner?
Ham sandwich. I don't know. I've not thought about that. I've only been thinking about autumn pie.
Thank you for listening to the Recipe for the Day podcast. We hope to see you sometime at www.kitchennewbie.com. Kitchen Newbie is a kind of online cookery school which hopes to help people new to cooking, and you will find lots of easy recipes and techniques. So, why not pop down and have a look? We're new, there's lots to do, but we'd love to see you just the same.